Hello everyone and welcome back to PazzoGaming. Today we're going to go through the basics of autocrafting, getting your computer up and running, and we're also then going to go through how to autocraft a pickaxe just out of raw materials. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer episode just because we're going to go through all the steps. We have our base, which we carried on from last one, which we have our storage over here. We have our main central CPU down here, our controller. We've also tied in, what do we add? We added a bunch of these terminals along here where they're color coded just for each of the different types of panels and everything. And we're going to be adding to it here with our crafting terminal base or our pattern terminal. And we also extended over to, before in the last episode, we did our storage banks. We connected them in with our P2P tunnel. And in this one, we added a separate tunnel that goes over here, a separate route, I guess we'll say. And it goes over, and this is where we're going to put all our crafting computers. We're going to put over here, so our processing units. So the very first thing, just to get going on that path, is you're going to make a few of these units. So each one of your computers that does the autocrafting will need at least one co-processing unit and one storage, crafting storage. And think of the crafting storage as temporary storage while it's crafting the item you want. So if it has lots of steps on how you build it, you'll need more storage. If you're just making a simple stick from 2 pieces of wood, you will need very little storage. So the more steps and the more complex things get down the road, or the quantity increases, the more storage you're going to need in your thing. So I've seen some upwards of, you can do 20, 35 megabytes or so. There's some crazy ones out there, and you stack all these and you end up with like 100 of these 64K ones. But we're just going to do a very simple one. We're probably going to make them each. I have a bunch of 64s made, and I have some 4Ks made. And we're just going to stack them out kind of along the wall there. So we're going to make some. So very first thing you want to do is make a crafting core processor. You want to make a few of them. And it's made up of one crafting unit, one engineering processor, and that will give you one co-processing unit. And each of the storage ones, much like the storage we looked at for our cells on the other side in a few episodes ago, I guess it would be, they each take a storage component. And the storage component, again, they kind of stack and grow from each other. So there's a 1K, a 4K, 8, 16, 64. It keeps going up all the way along there. And as you do that, it takes the previous one to increase the size. So I have like I said, a 1K here, which is a crafting unit, and the 1K. And as I said, you could add then a 64 and a crafting unit, and that will give you your 64 crafting storage. So first thing we're going to do is build in one. Actually, we'll build 2 or 3 of them right here. And I'm going to tie them in. So I hollowed out that room behind, and we're going to make these 3 high, I guess we'll do it. And we're actually going to make them fairly big. So we're going to take our... Where is it here? We'll take our 4Ks, we'll put those down there, and we're also going to take our co-processing units. So the number of co-processing units in your computer will allow you to do more simultaneous operations within that same build at the same time. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 co-processing units. It's going to allow us to build 4 different things within one job at the same time. So if you had multiple steps, it can do them in parallel beside each other. Whereas if you only had one, it's going to wait for the one to finish, then it'll do the next one, then it'll do the next thing. So let's say you were making, in our case, we're going to make a pickaxe, I think is what we said. So you're going to take your wood, you're going to turn it into sticks, you're going to take your iron, or maybe you're going to take iron ore even, and you're going to break it down, you're going to turn it back into ingots, and then you're going to turn it into your pickaxe head. And then the final step is combining the two into a stick and the pickaxe head into one solid pickaxe. So each of those is a step in here, and that's what a co-processing unit for. We kind of went over the storage, so I'm going to use 4Ks for this one. So I'm going to put 4 4Ks on it. And you notice it didn't turn into a computer. If I remove one, it just goes back. It didn't turn into a multi-block structure until it completed a rectangle or squared shape. So it can be a rectangle or it can be squared, but it needs to be, I guess the term is squared off to properly turn into a multi-block structure, which is your crafting computer. So I'm going to put one more row on top. And you can see it turned in, and we're then going to take our smart cable, and we tie this in with another P2P from our distribution network into our main network. We're going to tie that in right here, and I'm just going to connect it up. So we'll give it a sec, and this will light up once it ties in with the thing. And at the very top, you can see where it says device offline. That will switch to device online. And that should happen any moment. Oh, there we go. So we got one of our crafting units there. And now we're going to go, and I'm going to go out the front. Actually, I don't even have another door now. I'm going to put another door just beside it here so we can get in and out. We'll do that. What else are we going to do? So we went through our co-processing units, our crafting. We went through our ME interfaces and assemblers. So that will probably be the next step. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to build one. We're going to build it just beside everything over here. And we're going to, I'm just going to eat some bread here so I stop dying. We're going to build, very simply, like I said, we'll go through the whole pickaxe thing. So I'm going to build it on this side. Where do I want to put that? Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to put it right beside it. We'll kind of alternate it in our design. So I'm going to hollow out this area. And we're very simply going to take our molecular assembler and we're going to take our interface. Both of these are fairly easy to craft. So our interface is made up of 4 iron ingots, 2 glass, 1 formation core, and 1 annihilation core. And that will give you your interface. And then your molecular assembler is very similar. Actually, I think it's identical now that I look at it. Except it uses quartz glass and it uses a crafting table in the middle. So again, you have 4 iron on the outside, 1 formation, 1 annihilation, quartz glass on the outside, on the top and bottom, and your crafting table. And that will give you 1 molecular assembler. So I have a few of them built already. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to pick these up, is we're going to place them down here at the bottom. So we're going to go like this. And how am I going to lay this out? Put it there. I'll put this here. Four, five, six. And we could add 1 more row, and I guess actually we would probably want to build it up 1 higher with them at the bottom. But we'll use this as our example, so we'll leave it the way it is here for now. So what this does and what a molecular assembler does, so a molecular assembler will take a pattern or a schematic basically that we're going to build, and we'll go through that here in a sec, but it's going to take that, and if it has the access to the materials, it will build it for you. So it doesn't have to be per se part of an Applied Energetics network. It could be attached to, I think you can attach it to a chest. You can have it pull from there. You can have it do a whole bunch of things, but what it can do is, as long as it has access in the sides to it to pull those materials in, it will pull them in and make whatever the pattern, which you designate by putting in one of your blank patterns here, which we will go through in a sec. You'll take them, assemble them, and you'll see a timer right here, and spit it out over here. And then it can be exported into whatever, whether it's another chest or a storage or whatever the case is, back into our storage network over here, let's say. The interface is another block that's very similar, but what it does, it has tons and tons and tons of features. We're going to go through just the basic one in this episode of it taking a pattern, which we're going to make and we'll put in here. Right now we can't because, as you can see, I mouse over it. These are blank patterns. They don't have anything with them. They don't have anything, I guess no logic built into them. So it doesn't know what to do, how to make a stick or how to make anything, iron out of it, for instance. And what it's going to do is it usually will work with, the interface will work with a device next to it, and it will help craft things. So what I did in this buildup is it's going to interface, the ME interface is going to interface with the molecular assembler, and what it will do is help craft the items. So your assembler is what actually can do the combination of things. The interface is what's going to tie in and work with your Applied Energetics network. So we're going to go at the back here, and we're just going to strictly connect this up. So just directly across, we're going to light it all up, and you'll see that it immediately turns on, and it shows up online in the network. So each of your molecular assemblers will light up, and they'll change colors, and we also have our crafting station. So this basically covers what is needed for a basic crafting. You don't need to have this many, you just need 1 interface and 1 molecular assembler. Now that we have these items, what we're going to do is we're going to go make our pattern assembler, or pattern terminal, sorry, which is going to let us program our blank patterns we have into saved patterns or builds. So we want to get our pattern assembler. or pattern terminal, sorry. So you want to get your engineering processor and your crafting terminal, and that will give you one pattern terminal. So I'm going to grab that and pull that out. Also, the blank pattern is fairly simple to make. It's made with 2 quartz glass, 3 glowstone, 1 Certus quartz crystal, and 3 iron along the bottom. So it's fairly straightforward. It does take some resources. We can even deal with autocrafting all these later and all that other stuff. And what we're going to do is I'm going to place this pattern terminal right here. So we'll put it on the orange one. And one just note while we're going through these things, you notice that the color of the smart cable or the cable behind determines the color of the channel, but along with the color of the screen that you're going to get from this. So we're going to put this on the orange one, and I just held down shift, you noticed, and I right clicked and it placed it on there and it came out orange. So this will give us our pattern terminal. So our pattern terminal works very much like our other terminals. We can see into our network. You can see that I have some blue smart cables in there, some ME conduit from Ender.io, some marble, and some iron ore. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our blank patterns, which we created over there, and you'll notice I placed them in the top slot here, and I can place a whole stack of them. So in this case, I put 19 of them in there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and build a few patterns. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take, like I said, we're going to plan to make an pickaxe automatically with a click of a button. And that's what we're going to program into our network right now. So we're going to take our, in our case, spruce wood, and we're just going to place 1 in, and that's going to give us 4 planks. And it's going to know that, and it's going to remember them. So I'm going to put that in. That will make this pattern. I'm going to save it by clicking encode pattern, and that's going to put it into here. I can then pull this out, and I can place it into my bag. And you'll notice it is different than the blank one I had before. So it says blank. This one will actually say encoded, and it will tell me what it's crafting, what its materials are, and what it's going to put in as an output. So width is basically your output. I'm going to put those back. I can also hold down while it's in my bag, just as a little bit of a tidbit if it helps when you're looking at your bags. You may have a whole bunch of these lined up, and we'll end up with a few of them here in a sec. You can hold down shift, and you'll actually see visually it will change into what it the icon of what it should, or what the final product would be. So in this case, it's spruce wood, or the planks of it. So now that we got our planks, we're going to pull those out, and I'm going to take them. I'm sorry. We're going to take our planks. I'm going to pull out a stack. I'm going to go back to our pattern now, and we're going to take 1 of those in each of those spots. So if I put 2, we'll put 2 in, and that's going to give us our, there we go. Our 2 planks will give us our 4 sticks. We're going to program that one in. So then we went from wood to planks to sticks, which is what we needed. And we're just going to simply click on these. We can't pick them up. Once you put an item into your pattern terminal, you can't actually pick it out. It's just designed as a visual aid while you're programming your patterns. And you can clear the whole terminal just by, if you had stuff in there, just by clicking on this clear button at the top, and that will clear it up. So now we have our 2 items, and we can hold down shift. We notice they both changed. The next thing we're going to do, and in our case, we're not going to go from iron ore because we don't have any of the machine processing automated. We're going to go into that in the next episode on how we tie in machines to this process then. But we're going to take our iron ore and pretend that we had that whole process. And we're very simply just going to place 3 along the top here. Oops. And we're going to place our 2 sticks, which I don't have any. So I need to make some sticks, just so I have some for building the pattern. And we're going to place 1 stick, 2 sticks. And we know now we have sticks, or 2 sticks, sorry, our 3 iron ingots, and that gives us our 1 iron pickaxe. And this is, like I said, the very simplest design we're going to do. So again, I encoded that, and you can see it makes 1 iron pickaxe with 2 sticks and 3 iron ingots. So we're going to place that there too. So now we have all 3 of these items placed down below, and you can see them. We're going to go place them into our interface. So we're going to pick, let's go with the interface right here in the middle. Let's see, and we're just going to dump 1. Yeah, we'll just put them all into the same one just for simplicity. They could go in any of them. So this interface has access to these 3 assemblers at any given time. For instance, this one has access to 4, this one has access to 3, so on, so forth. So there's a little bit of thought process that you want to think of on how they can all work. Most of the time, as long as you put in, you can only put, I believe it's our, what is it? It's our 9 in per interface. it's not too bad. But if you do have lots of things stacking, you maybe want to make a sub network for crafting and things like that down the road. We'll get into that as we basically optimize our thing. I do recommend a sub network for grinding and ore processing, and just keep a base level in your network of all those items. It will help with load and other things when you start doing the big auto crafting jobs. So now we have those. We've placed them into our interface. We can actually go view them. There's another item called an interface terminal, and we do have that somewhere here, right here. So I can actually view what's inside each of those, and you can relabel them. So right now it knows I have 6 molecular assemblers attached to it, and normally the interface will be labeled what it's attached to. So in our case, our interfaces are connected to our molecular assemblers. Hence, all 6 of ours are called molecular assembler. You can rename them, and you can call each of them separate. So you could call bank 1, so molecular assembler bank 1, bank 2, bank 3. If you had a bunch of different walls, you could call it, maybe it's redstone furnace 1, redstone furnace 2. You can change all these different things, and you can rename them. So we're not going to touch that right now, but you can see what's in here, and this is how you can put things in and out of your network as well. And you can even watch as we move this. We moved it to a different one. Now it's going to be in a different interface over here. Because these are the only ones in our network. It can only be one of these. I don't know which one. You notice there's only 2 now in there, and it's in this one, in the 3rd spot. So it's very easy to move these around. We could then take it out, like I said, and we can put it up here. Either way, we're not going to do that anymore. So we have them all in our network. We have them connected. You can see the one down here. We can now go to our crafting terminal. And so our crafting terminal will now list, depending on what we're viewing, we can see up here, we can go only crafted items, right? And we want to see crafted and stored. We can see it up there too. So now that we have them in there, we don't have any in stock. And I know that because it says craft. If we did have any in stock, it would show the number of them on top of the item, unless we had the view set to only craft. So what else do we need to do? We can now click on any of these things. So let's say I want to make 1 pickaxe. So I just select pickaxe, I click next, or 1 is selected, click next. And what this is going to do is it's going to basically list out all the materials it needs to make these items. So you can see the 2 crafts are the items, the steps basically. And so this is where your co-processors kick in, because it's going to require 1, 2, 3 co-processors if it wants to do all 3 at the same time. Again, it doesn't have to. It can queue them up and just do them in order. We can also see that it's missing some items. And these, what it does is it's going to go through and see, out of all these items it has to craft, what does it need to do this? And you can see it's fairly smart. You know, it knows it only needs only 1 spruce wood, the raw material, to turn into planks, which is turning into a stick. And it also knows it's going to take, in this case, just directly iron ingots into the pickaxe, or the head of the pickaxe. So if I simply place those items into the network, actually I don't want to put the that in, we're going to put the wood in instead. And we are going to do that again. We can go craft 1. It's now going to let us, because it actually went through and looked and said there's 1 available of our wood, 3 available iron ingots, and there's 4, just of our raw materials. And then it's going to craft our other items. Our crafting units is what we would have if we had multiple items. So you can see how I mentioned that before that we built our processor on the far side over there. It had 4 co-processors, and right now it has a storage of 32,768. And this will allow you to store quite a few things in it. It's a fairly big one actually to begin with, but you can get wild and crazy up into like the megabytes and everything else. And you can see that our one job here only consumes 76 bytes of the 32,000 bytes available. So it's a very small job that we have right now. If you had multiple multiple CPUs, you could specify a certain network or a certain computer, certain computer, not network, if you wanted to craft in a certain area or whatever the case is. So we're just going to leave it on automatic and it will do it. We only have 1, so we could specify if we wanted, and we're going to click start. And we'll see that it's going to spit out 1. And now we just have our 1 iron pickaxe made right away. So that's kind of auto crafting in a nutshell. If I wanted to make 5 of them, I can go, I want to craft 5. And I go next, it's going to tell me all the items I need. So it knows I need 2 of these, 2 spruce wood planks. You know, I need 1 more wood, some iron ingot, things like that. I can again go start. And it's going to go through and it's going to make all these things. And you notice that I have now 5. So in a short matter of time, because they're not a stackable item, I now have tons of iron pickaxes. And I can even go wild and crazy, and I could say, I want to go make 200 of these. But what we're going to do while we do that is we're going to put in one other item called a crafting monitor. So this crafting monitor will let you see at least what a computer is doing and what it's crafting at the time. There are some other ways you can view that. You could go, I believe you can go into your crafting terminal, and you can click on crafting status, and this will show all jobs that are active. So we're going to we'll put our monitor in, and then you can view the visual side of it. We think we have some made right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put a big job in and make it run for a long time, just so we can all see what's going on here. So we'll put in our crafting monitor, and that puts a little screen here on the front of it. This should light up again. I just want to make sure it does before I walk away. There we go. It lit up. And what we're going to do is we're going to dump in, I'm going to pick up a bunch of iron ingots. We'll grab a few stacks, and we're going to grab some, what did we do? We did spruce, I think we did. Was it spruce wood? I think it was spruce wood. I'll just confirm it was spruce wood, it was. So we're going to dump all that in, and we'll dump all the iron in. And we notice how it stacks, really, which is really nice, right? So it says there's 365 spruce wood in there in the raw material, and there's 270 iron ingots because we just dumped a bunch of stacks in there. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to make, I'm going to take all these out. We're going to make a bunch of these things. So we're going to make, can we do 100? Can't do 100. We're missing some. What do we have? We can do probably about 50. And so you can use the increments here to build what you want. So if you want to go up by 1,000, you can go up by 1,000. If you also just want to type in what you want, we could type in 45. So we go next. We have enough because we have 135 there. We could even go probably a little higher. We can go, what are we going to go? 60. Let's go. Perfect. So it's going to take 180 iron ingots, and it's going to take 15 spruce wood. We only have the one network, so we're going to say go, and we're going to click start. I'm immediately going to click on the top right, and you'll notice that it's crafting all these items right here as we speak. And it's going to assemble these really quick because it's a very simple pattern. And while that's going on, I'm going to run over here, and hopefully we can see it. But we can see how many it's crafting and how many it has left to craft. So on this screen, it's assembling the final product, and it's done. Because it was a simple item, and it can all be done by basic crafting, shape crafting, just on your table, they craft very quickly, and so it's really hard to kind of demonstrate this. But if you had things like your furnace, let's say you want to do the iron ore, from ore, it had to make the ingots, all those things, you could see the whole process going on as it turns machines on, which is what we're going to go into the next episode. So as you can see, we made 60 iron pickaxes. We got pickaxes for days, and hopefully this helps you get going on your very basic network of getting everything up and running. So like I said, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to put them in the section below, and don't forget to subscribe and let us know how we're doing. Talk to you soon.